Hello, beautiful soul family. Rebecca here, your Vibe mentor, bringing you another video on how to raise your vibration so you can live your best life. Wanted to chat with you today about the ego death and how that relates to the dark night of the soul. I know collectively, globally, we have a lot going on, and never more than have I seen, never more than now have I seen such extreme levels of depression, anxiety, fear, the dark night of the soul, and so many are hurting and suffering. And I really want to do my best to support you all through this and to bring as many videos as I can to assist in moving you through it more quickly. I will say, as far as the events in the world, I do study astrology, and from what I have seen, both astrologically as well as other data points that show that the next couple of years are sort of the tail end of the really harsh stuff. That things will get better very, very soon, especially as we get into 2025. And I know for some that may seem like a long time, but we have been in this for quite a while. So just know that we're more than halfway there. It's almost done. In fact, I think while it may seem messy over the next couple of years, I think we will start to be able to see how things are coming together, that things are finally starting to look like they're growing in the right direction. And if you think about Pluto, the planet of death and rebirth, you think about the death card, it's destruction, right? And destruction is necessary to rebuild. And so we will rebuild into something new. And the same applies to the dark night of the soul, that it truly is a destruction of everything that you knew, that life has shifted and changed, that there is a new normal, there is no going back to the way it was, and that your soul's urge, your soul sickness is serving a beautiful divine purpose, and your life is going to be better than it ever was before. And when you get onto the other side of this, and when we can start to shift the mindset from seeing this as torture, or from seeing this as depression, or seeing this as painful, which I know is really hard to do, but understand that as soon as you can shift that mindset, you can start to appreciate it, you can start to value it, it will lift and get better. And I'll get to that in just a second. So understand the neuroscience behind this, that the world has taught you, however many years you've been alive, that this place that you're in looks like a really bad place. You're going to lose your job, you're going to lose your family, you're going to lose your friends, you're going to lose your stuff, you're going to lose your personality. It's all being wiped away. So you have a program, you have the neurobiology that supports this is wrong, this is bad, this is wrong, right? And so you're going to have very habitual thought processes that go to negative places. And so it is possible, I have a course on this if you really need assistance with this, but just know that it is possible to reprogram your mind, that neural pathways, dendrites in the brain can be dissolved and replaced. You can create new ones. You can start to shift the habit from the negative to the positive. And so it is possible. You are not doomed forever, that this is not your life forever, that there is a way out, and I can assist you with that if you're ready for help. So let's talk more about the ego death. Certainly mind shift is a piece of that. Ego death will be part of that mind shift. They are two different conversations. So just starting with what is the ego. So we really need to understand the ego as the voice in your head. It's almost always in your head. It's almost always sort of this negative chatter. It's the monkey mind. It is the voice in your head that labels. So the ego was necessary as an infant to learn the definition between you and your mattress, right? It had to define boundaries. The problem is the ego gets way out of control, and it starts to label everything as right or wrong, good or bad, old or new, for me versus for you. This is where I end and you begin. It is separation. Right? And so intuition is often the very first thought, and everything after that is overanalysis, where we have, again, societally encouraged the overproduction of the ego, the overuse of the mind. And so when we divide, we suffer. That the very soul sickness that you're searching is the unity consciousness. We are all one. We are all interconnected. You look at the earth and the way the earth works, the systems that support each other. Humanity is connected. We have the butterfly effect. We have the 100th monkey effect. There are plenty of data points out there, scientific evidence that knows, that has proven that we are all connected. And so we have to get back to that oneness. That soul sickness is, I have value. I am worthy. There's a part of you that knows that I have something I'm supposed to be doing. I was built for a purpose. I am a necessary part of this collective whole. It's kind of like, an organ in your body malfunctioning, and the rest of the body suffers, and the organ is struggling and trying to get going so that it knows, because it knows that it is an important critical piece of the whole, that the whole body is going to suffer without the proper functioning. And so you need to, not you need, but it will help you. You will start to feel better when you remember. There's a remembrance in your soul, and that's why your soul gets sick, is because it's trying to help you remember that you are you're a valuable, critical, necessary piece of the whole, and the world needs that gift that only you can offer. And so set aside the ego that says, I am separate. The ego wants to say, yes, I'm special. And so that's where it can get confusing, is the ego needs to feel special so that it can feel valid and worthy, so that it can feel superior over others, because its worth is relative to everyone else because we are separate. But rather, you are valuable. There is a certain piece of that is accurate, that you are special, and yet no more special than the others, that we are all puzzle pieces that fit together, and we're all supposed to come together to create heaven on earth. And so being able to discern and decipher the difference between that ego voice versus the soul sickness that's pushing you towards your purpose, right? So the truth is that we are all one. We are all sparks of the divine. We have a God spark in us. We are made in the image of our Creator. We are manifesting all the time, whether we realize it or not, and everything is in divine order. Right? That every person alive is an expression of the divine, and the divine is experiencing and expanding through each and every single one of us. And so it is not our place to determine whether or not the divine knows what it's doing, or whether or not the divine is acting appropriately. That we create so much pain for ourselves by trying to micromanage everybody else. We are being asked, especially in the dark night of the soul, to come within and to sweep in front of our own door, to mind our own vibration, and to tap into our divine gifts, and to start to be of service, and to kill the ego. Get rid of that voice that says that this is right or wrong, or that you're bad and I'm better. And that is the separation. There is resistance in that. You are resisting what is. And pain plus resistance equals suffering. And so we don't have to suffer. The pain is just an emotion that will move very quickly through you unless you resist it. And resistance is like a dam in the flow of the pain and the emotions that are supposed to move through you. And you're creating this backup that is in your body. It's going to create this overflow, and it may even be why you're here where you are now. And just remember that if you can put down the resistance to what is, accept it, surrender to it, love it, acknowledge the divinity in it, the beautiful plan, say thank you. Thank you for taking a giant eraser and erasing everything that was, so that I have this clean slate, this fresh piece of paper, and now I get to go back and build whatever I want. That is the beauty of the destruction, is you get to clear away the rubble and start clean and fresh. See this as a gift. Be willing to be strong enough to step into that, to take a hold of your brain, take control back, and drive it instead of letting it drive you. That what we create is our own suffering in that resistance by labeling it as good or bad, right? That when we can fully surrender to it, that's when we start to see peace. Refusing to judge or label it, embracing it, choosing to accept it and love it for what it is, that's when we start to see the relief. We're learning to love what is. And that, I think, is worth repeating. Love what is, period. Regardless, always and forever. The only thing that is true is love. We have to love ourselves unconditionally, right where we are, just as we are. Without judgment, without criticism, without berating ourselves. No amount of negativity has ever solved any problem. Truly, ever. Nor did any amount of focus on the problem solve the problem. In fact, what you focus on grows, and what you resist persists. So the only option you truly have, if you're really ready to shift out of this, the only option you have is surrender and love. Only love is real. Only love wins. Fear is an illusion, and anything other than love is actually a delusion. It's inaccurate perception. And a miracle is new perception. So once we've accepted these things, we can start to move out of the dark night of the soul. First comes acceptance. Then comes the love for yourself, love for others. And then with a little effort, we can pick ourselves up and start to live our life again. This time it's new and better. It's amazing. And you get to move towards wholeness for the first time in your entire life. But here's the truth of it. It will take effort. That once your brain has gone into a depressive state, you've gone into hermit mode, you've isolated and secluded yourself, your muscles have atrophied. Your social muscles, your physical muscles, your mental muscles. But it's okay. We can create new neural pathways, especially replacing the ones that have become outdated. But you have to ask yourself, are you really ready? Are you ready to put in the effort? Do you really want to shift out of this? Have you come to that breaking point where you're ready to say enough is enough, I'm done with this? Are you ready to fully accept the fact that you have control over your reality? Are you ready to accept that you have a purpose? Are you willing to believe that you were made with intention? The world needs that special gift. Do you believe that you have a gift? Do you believe that collectively you are part of a critical piece of you're a critical piece of the puzzle, a collectively part of the whole? But you have to be ready, and you have to be willing to accept. And it's only when you hit that breaking point that things are going to start to change. And we have to remember the ego is the thoughts. The mind is a liar. The ego is a liar. You have to ask the heart. When you ask these questions, don't accept the brain's answer. Wait for the heart's answer. Try it on. Feel it in your body. Start by saying, I don't have a purpose. And you will sense the feeling of a 10-ton brick coming down on you. And then try on the inverse. Sit there and close your eyes and imagine you are a thriving, critical piece of the whole. You're valuable. The world loves you for what you bring. You will feel the expansion and the openness. You will know the truth of that. There is an undeniable truth in that, and you will feel it at a soul level. Right? So we have to listen for the truth from our body, from our hearts, and not from our minds. We have to be willing to accept the responsibility that we have in it. And then we have to be ready to start tasting life again, to believe that there is joy and bliss out there. And then to be very gentle and loving with yourself, because it's going to take baby steps. You're not going to be able to do it in a day, in an hour, or in one YouTube video. 2 steps forward, 1 step back exists for a reason. Planets retrograde for a reason, because you're going to hear it, you're going to taste it, you're going to ingrain and embody, you're going to move back and forth until you finally take the next leap into the next step. So try. Go for a walk. Have a cup of tea with a friend. Maybe go to your favorite restaurant. Help a neighbor in the garden. Find ways to be of service. And really, when you can step into that service and being of contribution and giving back, that's what's going to create the most joy and the most progress. That's going to help you move the most quickly out of the dark night of the soul. Right? You make your life one of meaning and purpose. That's where the true joy is found. Stepping into love for yourself, for your creator, for the people around you. That's what allows the joy and the bliss and the love to come down like a conduit and move down through you and out into others. And that is the flow of the peace, the joy, the bliss, the happiness that we're all seeking. You have gifts to offer. Explore it your way. Find it your way. And you will. I love you guys. Namaste.